So the title of our show is The Mouse and the Goof. Because when we were wee lasses, little children, there was a guy that was friends with our parents from our church.
Yeah.
Whose name was Mike, and he would call Ashley Mouse, and I was Jessica Goofy or Jessica Goof, and then we called him Mikey Duck. So when Ashley and I were trying to come up with a name for the show, we threw around a couple of things. I think ideally we wanted a name that had to do with Disney but wouldn't restrict us to only Disney. So if we decide we want to watch Road to El Dorado, we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's the Mouse and the Goof.
That's us.
So,
all right, the Mouse and the Goof. Here we go.
Yay.
What are we doing?
I don't know. This is your idea. I'm just the production assistant at this point.
Jessica and I have been friends since we were but little babes.
We babes.
I mean, like, literally.
I always like to tell people that we've been best friends since you were born, since I was born first.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you had a sad 3 months of your life.
Yeah. It's so lonely.
Were just empty and void until I came along. But a big part of our friendship has always been Disney. Like, literally from the beginning.
Yep.
We have videos of us singing, like, at toddler age. I mean, we must have been 2. We must have been, like, 2 years old, and we're singing I'm Wishing in my kitchen. We'll find that video someday.
Yes, so fun.
And then middle school, when I would play hooky and go to Disneyland with you.
On birthdays, special occasions. It wasn't like all the time, but
like random Thursdays.
Every once in a while.
And now we're adults.
And
we still like Disney movies. And so every time we watch a Disney movie, which is quite often, we end up texting each other and commentating on it. And so we always joke that, like, we need to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And we've decided that now, when I have a 17-month-old, and you, how old is yours?
It's almost 6 months.
6 months, yeah. What better time than now?
Right? It's not like we have anything else going on. But I don't know. I was thinking today, like, this is a really good way for us to get to just hang out from different states. So
we haven't lived in the same state for over half our life. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But we're still best friends.
Yeah.
So
now we're going to dog on a Disney movie.
So the most recent watch, it was Wish, which came out on Disney Plus earlier this month, I think, is when it was released.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen it in theaters. You didn't go see it in theaters. And so I think I watched it first. Didn't I? I think I watched it first and was like, oh my gosh.
I think you were like, so let me know when you watch this one. And
yeah, because I didn't want to taint your opinion.
Oh, it was already tainted.
I know.
I watch a lot of review channels, and I was skeptical when I first saw the trailer, so I was like, oh no. But
the Disney stuff that I watch is more like park stuff, so I don't usually see a lot of like movie reviews. My husband watches more of the movie reviews, but so I had seen like some stuff on TikTok, and like people were critical of like the animation style when the trailers first came out, which we'll get into. But we have thoughts.
We do. We have many thoughts,
but
it'll be fun to talk about.
Yeah, but we don't want to be super negative. and we love Disney. So like normally we have lots of positive things to say.
Oh yeah.
So we need to start whatever this is with one positive comment
Okay.
before we rip this movie to shreds.
I can
So,
do
Jess,
that.
what's your one positive note?
Um,
Don't steal mine.
I don't know what yours is. How could I steal it? Um,
Okay.
I really love animation in general. I'll kind of start that off.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I love Disney so much as an adult. It's just fascinating, like art.
Note the pictures in her background, which are all stills.
Treasure Planet and Lilo and Stitch, which came out in the same year. And
what year is that?
2002.
We know our stuff.
Does that make you feel old or what? But so one of the things that I do like that the movie was trying to do was attempt a kind of retro looking animation style, kind of like the old 2D version, but they were using computer animation and 2D mixed together, which is something that they've been building towards forever. Treasure Planet's a really good example of that. All the characters are 2D and the like backgrounds are computer animated, and they mix them together, and they're able to look natural and nice together. And that's what Wish was trying to do. And I think there are some moments where it's captured really well. One of my favorite things visually is it's at the end of King Magnifico's song. This is the thanks I get or whatever. And he just yells really loud, and the mirrors break behind him, and he just looks really creepy. And visually, that looks cool. I think it's super great looking, and it just like kicked my microphone. And it's interesting to me, and I want to say more good things, but I'm struggling, so I'm gonna let you.
No, I think that's good. And I think it's funny that both of our good things are gonna like very stereotypically like go with who we are as people. Yours is the animation, and mine has to be the music. That's probably how I was first introduced to Wish, was because we listened to Disney music all the time at home. I would say it's because of the kid, but we listened to it way before. But normally on like the Spotify Disney playlists, I like skip through the new stuff because I'm like, I don't know this, whatever. But these songs are so catchy. They're so catchy and they're really fun. So I think the music is a win, even if look at us like putting spins on our positive of like it's not 100% positive. But like songs don't always benefit the story in the right way, but those are our positives. So I really liked the music. You're a fan of what they were trying to do with the art.
Should we mention the like overarching plot of the movie, or do we need to do that?
Level setting.
We could
also there are going to be spoilers, so like if you haven't seen the movie, I mean, I'm not going to tell you to go watch it, but like you should watch it. See,
form your own opinion and then come back.
Well, and I think this is an interesting point, because I was going to say we are very different Disney fans. Like, you, I think, are a super fan in a lot of ways, where you have your, like, you have your movies, you have your characters that you are, like, diehard super fan of. I'm a little different where, I mean, I have my favorites for sure. Mm-hmm. I just want, like, all Disney. And so, like, I think I've seen more of the movies than you have. or at least like I keep up with current
Yeah. I
movies
would
more
agree with
than you
that.
do.
I
Like I will see a
am
movie just because it's Disney and just to make sure that I'm like in the loop.
I used to be like that a long time
Well, I
ago.
know, and that now you're an adult and have a
No.
job and a kid. But you, if you're not interested in it, you're not going to watch it.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not interested, but it's Disney, so I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Does that make
Or
sense?
yeah. And like I mean, that's accurate. It took me like a year to finally get around to watching Elemental.
Oh, I liked that one. Did you like it?
I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
I don't think I would watch it a bunch, but I thought it
No.
was okay.
Yeah.
But I wasn't immediately drawn into the story just from the commercial.
Yeah, fair.
Which I don't know. Sometimes as I think about like when we were kids, I loved watching the commercials at the beginning of the VHSs that we owned.
Yeah.
But
how old are we?
Right. I don't necessarily remember seeing a bunch of commercials and being like, I want to go see this movie. I think a lot of the times it was somebody else talked about it, or I saw a poster and was like, ooh.
You're talking about now, or are you talking about
like when we were kids? And
oh, yeah.
Like, so, and I don't know, commercials have changed the way that they do them. Because usually, like, in the 90s, they would be like, this movie is about blah, 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 and their person and stuff and things. And it, like, kind of it gave you an actual synopsis, not just, like, random, like, words popping up on the screen. Sometimes it did. I do remember, this is a huge sidetrack. I'll get back on track here in a second. But I do remember the first time I saw the trailer for Little Mermaid 2.
Oh, good
which
movie.
was also, I think, 2002. Speaking of
the golden age.
It might have been earlier than that. I don't remember, but it was
Have you watched that
area.
recently? If you haven't, you should.
I've seen clips from it recently. Yeah, but I just remember that was one of the I don't remember if it was actually 2002. If it was or wasn't, it would have been in that time frame. Sometime between like 98 and 2003 were the times I remember watching commercials. And being aware of what was happening. And I remember just freaking out because Ariel had a daughter.
And she had dark hair.
I was like, it looks like she looks like me.
We played Little Mermaid a lot. We played Little Mermaid, like pretend games, a lot. Yeah.
So all that to say, when I saw the commercial for Wish or trailer or whatever, I did not have that kind of reaction, and I haven't had that kind of reaction to a Disney trailer in probably since Frozen 2. That was the last trailer I remember seeing and being like, oh, that's an interesting take. They it's Elsa running out the water, and I was just like, because that was a huge difference from the trailer for Frozen 1 where Olaf is sniffing a flower.
I'm not a big trailer watcher. Like, I don't unless I don't go to the movies very often. If I do, it's for like Avengers, Disney, Star Wars. Like that's about it. But I don't like when new trailers are dropped, like I'm not watching them online or like looking for them unless they come across my For You page. So I just feel like there was a lot of talk about Wish online. But let's get back to the like brief synopsis for anyone who hasn't watched it, who's not gonna watch it. I didn't even think about doing this. Do you want to? How would you do it?
I googled it.
I'm
just gonna read the Google.
Great. Do it.
So this is the Google synopsis. Synopsis. I can talk.
Give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
For our original material.
Right. Okay. So it says young Asha makes a wish so powerful that it's answered by a cosmic force, a little boundless energy called Star. With Star's help, Asha must save her kingdom from King Magnifico and prove that when the will of one courageous human connects with the magic of stars, wondrous things can happen. Is that what the movie was about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think they make Star sound like more of a character than Star actually is.
Yeah.
One of my notes was, is Star a toddler?
Star. What is Star's purpose?
I just said, why is the star behaving like a toddler?
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly could not. I couldn't connect with Star at all as a side character. He's just kind of there.
Not a character. But I told you via text that I wasn't like listening to a lot of other reviews or anything, but the one thing that I did do after I watched it last night was read the Wikipedia article because I just wanted like a little bit of a take from someone else, and I thought this was really interesting. And based on what I read in the Wikipedia article, I think this movie went through a lot of changes, like any movie would, but like there was one idea and then for whatever reason really got scrapped, but they didn't put it back together all that well. This said that the Art of Wish, like the art book, said some other stuff, but said that Star was originally a human character, part magical, part glowing, inspired a bit by Peter Pan. Which, that would have been interesting. That would have been a character.
Yeah, yep. That would have been a character. Rather than like
a little toddler flying around.
Than a plushie that you can sell at Christmas.
Oh, shade. Okay, here we go. Calling out the Walt Disney Company.
I'm just saying, like, I worked at, listen, I have some credentials. I did work at the Disney store when Frozen came out. So, like, I know what they look for to make. They made both those girls so many dresses just so they could sell them to little kids.
So true. So true. Classic Disney moment where you were like, Disney.
Honestly, the first like minute of the movie, maybe less, just the storybook opening.
I have the same thing written down.
Yeah, the storybook opening. I actually
liked that.
I did too. It was cute. I actually went and watched a couple of the openings just because I was trying to remember how the old ones did it. I think stylistically it reminded me the most of Sleeping Beauty.
Which they pulled a lot from in this movie, like throughout.
Yeah. The narration kind of annoyed me, and I wasn't sure why, except it was just Asha reading the book, which is fine. But I don't know. I like Snow White didn't have narration. Snow White was just text.
Oh, text and just the pages would turn?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
But Cinderella...
What other ones had... Yeah, Cinderella.
Cinderella had narration and a book. And Sleeping Beauty had narration and a book. I think Pinocchio had a book. Couldn't tell you if it had narration. Didn't bother to look at it.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen
like cadence of the narration, I think, from Asha. I think this might have been the thing that bothered me, and I don't know why. But the cadence reminded me of Tangled, which I liked the narration in Tangled.
Oh, yeah. Did Tangled have a book, or did Tangled just have opening narration?
It had opening narration. It was Flynn. Flynn was doing the opening narration. And because Flynn is a fun, interesting character, like his kind of goofiness in the narration works.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but for some reason...
In a movie that tried to draw on nostalgia so much, I felt like this was one of the moments that like that nostalgia paid off. Favorite character? This one was
Um,
harder than it should have been.
yeah. I think I like King Magnifico. I like
Yeah.
what they were trying to do, or I think I like the potential of what he could have been.
Right.
I like,
I
yeah, I like
adore
Chris
Chris
Pine.
Pine.
Yeah, I
Like,
like Chris Pine. So I was
in
fine with
love.
that.
In
Yeah,
love. Like, the moment I saw he was in this movie, his voice alone, like, when
yeah,
I hear the BMW commercials, which his voice is on, I'm just like, ah, yes,
yeah.
sure, sure,
He's
sure, I'll
great.
get a BMW.
He's
Whatever
great,
you want to sell me,
right?
Chris.
He's great, and I think he did a great job. Did you know he didn't really sing before he was in Into the Woods?
I believe it.
Yeah, he was not. He did not really
I've
sing.
been in the same room as Chris Pine, by the way.
Really?
Yes, I went to a screening with my stepdad of Into the Woods, and afterwards there was a
Oh,
cast panel including Chris Pine and Meryl
wow.
Streep and Anna
Oh
Kendrick,
my
and
gosh.
just
And
like
you didn't explode?
I did, but I've recovered, thankfully. No, I am in. He's on my list.
Yeah, he's on the
He's
list.
on my list, and I just feel like his voice. Like it makes a great villain. It's that smooth, sexy, like
Yeah,
charisma of a villain. I
yeah.
wish he had been written a better villain, but
He worked with
not
what
even
he
better.
had,
That
and he did a good job
yeah,
with
yeah,
what
yeah.
he had.
Yeah.
He played
It's just a little chaotic.
he played Jack Frost in Rise of the Guardians back in
Oh, I haven't seen
2012.
that. It's not Disney. We can't talk about that here.
What?
No, just kidding.
We'll
I'm
have
just
to
kidding.
watch it now and add it to the list. It's Chris Pine, Ashley. You have to watch it. And it's also a
Yeah,
much better
valid.
It's a much better movie.
Than this.
It's got Hugh Jackman and Chris Pine
Oh, really?
and
I really don't know
yeah.
anything about it.
It's fun. Anyways, again, this different movie, but he's in that.
Andrew.
I also just recently watched Dungeons and Dragons and Chris Pine is in that.
Oh, I watched that. Yes, I watched that
It's
because
fun.
he was in it,
It
and
was
Zach said
fun.
I would like it.
It
Yeah,
was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
yeah, it was
And
enjoyable. I liked it a
this-
lot, actually.
anyways, so there we go. There's a
Um,
positive thing. We both really like Chris Pine, and he's in this movie.
Yeah, I didn't actually put him as my favorite character though, because of the problems with character,
Yeah. But
and just like the chaoticness, bipolarness. Not
yeah.
that there's anything. I mean, it was just a lot. I said, here's my exact note. I guess Asha. I don't really care about any of the characters that much. I
No.
do like the friends being the dwarfs thing, but
Yeah.
also why? Okay,
Yeah.
this was my hot take, which
Okay.
I've realized is not that hot. First time watching it, I was on my phone, distracted, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So second time watching it, I'm paying attention. And Dahlia, one of the friends, well, my first watch, I was like, why does she have so many friends? Why on earth would they put that many characters? They're so dumb. What a dumb decision. Didn't make the connection whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm watching it this time. I'm like, so stupid. They have so many friends. And I'm looking at Dahlia and her costume and the colors she's wearing and the bow in her hair and the glasses. And I'm like, how many friends does Asha have? And I count 7. I'm like, oh my gosh, mind blown. I am the first to discover this. That's what I texted you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have a hot take. I'm saving it. And then I
Nice.
realized that you watched Snow White after you watched this the other day.
Yep.
And I was like, I think she already knows.
She knows. Yeah.
She knows.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously for the story, it didn't do much. But I did think it was pretty clever.
Yeah. I think
Like,
if they just given them
unnecessary.
literally any extra screen time for us to get to know them and like enjoy them, because I like their
for sure.
designs a lot. I think they're
Yeah,
cute.
they're beautiful.
I think they're cute.
The dopey guy.
Yeah.
Loved that he was kind of more like the stoner, like this like silly guy. There were so many fun references with that. He wiggles his ears at one point. Yeah. And so then every time something that would happen that would reference Snow White, I was like, ha ha.
Like when they're marching in line. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just the fact that their names all have the same, like... And I remember thinking the first one, like, why is that one kid so mad? Like, why is he such a downer?
He says it at the end of the movie. Did you miss that? He says, "This is why I'm grumpy."
Yes. Yep. Totally over the head the first
if
time.
You didn't know until the end of the movie, they make it blatantly clear.
They do it for multiple. Yeah. Magnifico calls the sleepy guy like, "Oh, Sleepy Simon."
Yeah.
Like, it's all throughout. I don't know how I missed it the first time, but I totally did. My only thought was, why are there so many friends? What a dumb decision.
You know,
like, clearly.
You know who does
I think those are my favorite characters.
Yeah.
The Seven Dwarfs.
They're fun. I actually kind of like the grumpy kid. He's annoying, but like in a funny way.
I mean, he has the most personality, screen time of all of them.
It's true.
I think.
He's the, I made a wish on a star. What are you, 5?
The sarcasm.
I'm like, how old is this kid? He's probably he's either really, really short, really young. I don't know what he is, but he might be the youngest one in the group. That was my first interpretation.
I feel like that is the reference that they pulled off the most. Again, they could have had more character. They could have had more of a presence. It certainly was just fun because of what it.
Thing that drives me crazy is that we know they can do a bigger cast and it be okay and interesting. They did it with Atlantis. They did it with Encanto. Those movies have pretty large casts, and all those characters are interesting and fleshed out, and they just didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why.
When I say they, I know that Disney has different directors, screenwriters, all that. I know that it changes hands and kind of stuff happens all the time. But it's just the company itself.
And we still love them. We still love them.
Yeah. We're trying.
Jess isn't too sure. Okay.
Struggle bus. Anyways, yes, so that's characters.
So best scene. What did you have for this?
Honestly, just the King Magnifico's descent into madness pretty much is the best visually interesting scene. And I'll explain why in a little bit because I did some research on it. But
do you want to do it now or you want to wait till
we can do it now. I don't care. It's lower on the list. But the other one, for kind of the same reason, at the end of the movie, or towards the end of the movie, when you get a shot of the castle, like the tower, and the clouds are swirling around at the top. That is pretty cool. It's a big old reference to Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I didn't think about that. Yep. I have a whole section in my notes of references. I got very excited every time I saw one.
I wrote down
lots of Sleeping Beauty references.
There's several Frozen references also.
I didn't get. I got We Love Crazy. Yep. When the mushrooms said it. We love crazy.
There's another bit where Asha's trying to get the door open and she does this which is just Elsa.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah. So the reason why his evil transition scene with the green and stuff, the green's cool because it's it's a callback to old Disney because all the villains had green stuff except for Jafar.
Green is evil.
I think Jafar had
who was
red.
more red.
Yeah. But So the way the animation works in this movie, part of the reason why it looks weird a lot and then sometimes it looks great is because they mixed 2D and CGI or computer animation, right? So, and then the background is watercolor, which I've seen.
The backgrounds were gorgeous.
The backgrounds are very nice. But there's a lot of moments to me where they just look a little muddy. And I don't know if it's anything except just the color palette. Which a lot of minimalists
you don't think
like
it was
that
like
color
intentional
palette.
I was gonna say, you don't think it was like intentional, just like haziness?
It might have been. But Lilo and Stitch had watercolor, like actual watercolor backgrounds, not just like computer rendered.
Yeah.
And it's bright and vibrant and gorgeous. So it might have just been a palette color decision that they went with.
Interesting.
But
I say like I know. This is all just a section. This is me just affirming you.
So one of the things they did in King Magnifico's like magic bits is that all of his sorcery is 2D. So they're able to make it look a little more magical, I guess. I'm sure you could probably render it with computer animation, but it just looks a lot cooler.
You know what it made me his magic made me think of was Princess and the Frog. Like the hands. Did you get that vibe?
So the hands I picked up from Little Mermaid. When she steals her voice.
Yeah, that's good too.
But yeah, that also Princess and the Frog is another one I thought of.
Which would make sense because Princess and the Frog was hand drawn.
Yeah. Some of the reasons why some of it looks funky. I found this one out today. It's interesting. So a lot of the everything is what's called evenly lit, which is like it's just the lighting is kind of the same no matter what angle you're looking at. This is something they do a lot in TV animated shows with a lower budget.
I was gonna say where we would usually be like, that's cheap.
Yes. But because it's on TV, we think, oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
The other thing that
do you think that's part of like the pushback that
that's one of the biggest complaints I've seen with other people that have watched it is just it looks like it's not finished. I am one of the people that agrees with this because if you look at movies like Into the Spider-Verse, this is the same type of animation.
Yeah.
But it's missing something. It's missing like it's like color. It's missing just vibrancy. And the other thing that it's missing is it doesn't have motion blur, which a really good example of this would be The Incredibles. You have action scenes, and to make it just kind of look smoother, you've got this thing that makes it blurry, right? And it just, your eyes are like, okay, cool, this looks fine. This movie doesn't have motion blur. You know what else doesn't have motion blur? TV shows.
I'm catching on.
You're getting it. So
I understand.
That's why things sometimes just look weird. Now there are moments when people move and they look great. I like the movement. I think the movement or the animation looks great. Even if it's too much. Sometimes, like, one of my favorite things is King Magnifico when he's about to do the, like, ceremony. And he's like, I love that. It looks smooth. It looks great to me. Yeah. But the stylization on top of it looks funky. So anyways, I just, like, took
Interesting.
that whole
Okay,
scene,
I see what you're saying. You definitely went into the animation style, which is good.
My bad.
Which is good. And no, it's totally fine. I mean, it was the natural progression. And I would say, like, the second time watching it, again, here's a tip to all our viewers. When watching a movie, put your phone down. Pay attention to the movie. It's a different viewing experience. But I was struck by like the beauty of a lot of it. The note that I made in like our animation style section was that it definitely grew on me. And like the second time watching it, I was much more aware of the beauty. I loved the like the scenes in the woods were so beautiful. There's this one where she like walks over a bridge and I was like, gosh, that's so pretty. Like I want to be there. I thought that was really beautiful and I really liked the color palette especially in those wood scenes. But yeah, that was I thought there were a lot of really beautiful moments. Back to best scene. Is it bad that I put TBD and I never went back to it and filled it in?
That's okay. That is okay.
I think the best scene will be easier in movies that are like classics and beloved by us because like we have scenes that we look forward to. For this, it's not that there weren't any good scenes for me. It's just like none of them were like, oh,
there weren't
amazing.
Yeah, there wasn't like a sequence that I was like, wow.
Yeah, I would say some of the like the songs I really liked. Like I thought that
that kind of counts.
Yeah, so I skipped over best song, but I'm between I really like At All Costs. That one, like I'll Protect You. Where they're like looking at all the wishes. I thought that was beautiful. And excuse me, maybe it's because I've heard this wish more that when I hear At All Costs, I'm like, oh, that's fun. Like, it's just a different, I don't know, it has a different vibe to it that I really enjoy. And the harmonies in the bridge, so good. So good.
I also like, what is it, At All Costs? I haven't listened to it as much. Yeah. When I have listened to it, I like it. Probably, I don't know if it's my favorite. It feels like a song I might sing to my child.
Yes. Yeah. The emotion.
Yeah.
I will protect you.
Yeah.
Love it.
I like probably my favorite one, and it's not even the best probably, but I like the Thanks That I Get.
Oh, I do too. That's the one that gets stuck in my head.
Yeah, I like King Magnific, or I like Chris Pine's just emotion in it. Even if I don't necessarily agree with the song and where it is and how it's done, but if you take it out, it's great. This feels a little bit more like an admin assistant complaining about their job.
Which we both are.
Yeah. I like that one. And I like the What I Know Now. I like...
Oh, that's the one that the friends are singing and then the queen comes in.
I like the vibe. I like the drums.
It's very Greatest Showman.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I would have liked to see them like suiting up to go fight.
And like doing something rather than just
building a model of the city.
Shadow images.
Yeah.
That was my question. I'm like, what are they doing? Like besides singing.
Also, I think the queen should have gotten a song. She has a really pretty voice. I'm a little sad that she only got like this much. And
the queen is a whole conversation. Thing. Do we want to go there right now? Like, what is the queen?
What is the queen? Why is the queen?
So, I gave like the first half of this quote earlier when we were talking about Star, but also in the art book Art of Wish, it was revealed that Queen Maya was originally going to be a villain alongside Magnifico, which totally makes sense because at the end, and I think I even said this, I think we even talked about this after our first watch, that, you know, is she the evil queen? Because then she has the mirror at the end. And that would make a lot of sense, especially with, I was even thinking with like the dungeon, that they go down into.
Yeah.
But like her character as it is in the movie is just like super supportive wife. And then, oh, he's bad. Never mind. Don't need you.
I guess we can't save him. That's a line in the movie. It is a forbidden magic cop out. And that actually upset me. Like, that's what you're just gonna.
You just like
you can't help him.
You loved your husband, and now nope.
Because they didn't go with the evil queen route. She's kind of just a throwaway character. She's a distraction.
Like she wasn't necessary.
She is just a distraction. That's what she is.
That one moment, which any of the characters could have done. Dahlia could have gone in there and delivered cookies and distracted her or whatever.
Yep. Literally anybody could have done that.
Why do you think they didn't commit to her being evil?
Who knows? We could speculate on that all day. I could tell you that I think, this is my opinion, I'm not a professional anything. I'm a professional admin assistant. But
which is an important role as an executive assistant who values her job a lot.
Yeah.
Lots of value you bring.
I'm not a animator. I'm not a director. I'm not a story writer. I have no credentials, but this is what I think.
Tell the people.
They could have gone down a Macbeth type road. Do you know much about that Shakespeare one? So
yeah. I was in English.
Yeah. So if you weren't in English or didn't pay attention or aren't a nerd, Macbeth, I couldn't tell you the whole story, but the main things that I remember are his wife kind of pushes him to do some crap, like crappy things, to be king, to keep his status, all that. That is what they could have done, and I think that would have been really interesting, because then it could have been a twist on the end where she essentially betrays him, and they could have done like a post-credit scene where she goes and visits him in the dungeon or whatever, and
and just a mirror on the wall, and she's the vain one. Oh my gosh, that would have been so good. I wonder if they just didn't want like the woman portrayed that way.
If you look at Disney's history, they have a long line of evil women. They also have a long line of great women. And
evil men.
Yeah.
So it's both. But I think in the moment that we're in, they probably had a meeting.
Yeah.
Someone had a meeting and was like, why don't we have her be this strong woman who stands up to her husband? Which is great if the story supports it and if it makes sense for the story. But I would have loved to see an evil queen. That would have been so good.
So I didn't know the word progenitor until like November last year.
I don't know it.
So it's
like ties it all together.
It's the beginning of everything. It is the genesis of Disney. The origin, progenitor. Yeah. So the idea here would be like, oh, Asha's the fairy godmother from Cinderella.
Yes. Which also didn't pick up my first watching. I really missed a lot my first time watching.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, her cloak thing
looks familiar.
Grandmother.
Yeah.
It looks familiar.
So, and then you've got like the Neverland jokes and the Mary Poppins jokes and all that.
And obviously the star, which is Pinocchio.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be the launching. It is the beginning of the Disney Marvel type universe. That's essentially what it's supposed to be. And if they were really going to...
DCU.
Yeah. If they were going to go real hardcore on it, we should have gotten a post-credit scene of the evil queen.
Rather than the origin of, When You Wish Upon a Star.
Yeah.
Which was very cute, but like...
Oh, I was so underwhelmed by her dress. transformation at the end of the movie. So the star like flies around her dress and makes her all sparkly.
The dress.
Nothing changed. They just dumped sparkles on
Why?
her. That was a thing, a merchandise thing that Disney failed there. They could have given her a brand new dress the last 2 seconds of the movie and sold it for $80.
Disney moment.
Yeah, like
missed opportunity.
They were
we should
focused.
email them
they
and
were
be
focused.
like, "Hey, do you realize
you could have sold
that you
more clothes that way?" And also, we love dress transformation scenes. Give us more of those.
So we did best scene, kind of.
Sort of, yeah.
Worst scene, and I must lead this.
Okay.
What the heck was the chicken thing?
I wrote that down too. It was so
dumb.
What's that? It was so dumb. It was
it a reference to something that I was missing?
I don't think so. It might have been. If you missed it, I missed it too.
It just was like, the only thing I could think of was, I shouldn't. This is so dumb. The only thing I could think of was Splash Mountain, aka Song of the South, like the dancing animals in like, which is not the reference they were making. But I was like, what are they referencing?
I don't.
Was it just a dumb gag?
I think it was just a dumb. Yeah, I think it was a dumb bit for the kiddos. I think that's all it was. Now you know what they could have done.
Smarter than that.
Kyle
showed us. The kids are smarter than that.
Kyle told me I shouldn't say what they should have done. What I would have done is do a Beauty and the Beast reference. Be a guest to the chickens.
Okay. Yes. That makes a lot more sense than the Song of the South reference.
I wouldn't say it's the worst scene. I'm gonna add this to the something they could have changed section, which I apparently have a million thoughts on those. The dad, the non-existent dad. They dropped the dad in at minute 13. Okay. He is not mentioned before that. He's mentioned at minute 13, and he is mentioned at least 2 or 3 more times after that.
Yeah.
And I wrote down in really big letters the third time they mentioned him to stop, because we have no frame of reference. We have nothing to connect him to. He's a talking point.
Was the first reference when she's with Magnifico?
Yep. And it's supposed to be a way for them to connect because they both lost something. That was not the way.
Well, and he was the philosopher.
Yeah.
And he's the connection to the stars.
Yeah. But they could have had her Saba be the connection to the stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
He could have been a philosopher.
His dream could have had something to do with the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have.
And that would have been more of a threat to Magnifico.
Yeah. And him not granting his wish.
They should invite us to their meetings.
Right? I took creative writing. I minored in creative writing. Like, I could help with this.
I haven't taken English since freshman year of college, but like I got a lot of good thoughts.
Yeah. But they could have cut the mom and the dad out, and it wouldn't have affected the plot at all.
Yeah, yeah. You know my runner up for worst scene, which may seem small, but the first scene after the fairy tale book, the first scene was so weird. So she transitions from reading the book to, and my Saba's gonna get a wish granted today because it's his birthday. And then she has to leave. And the mom's like, but aren't you going to bake a cake? And she's like, no, I can't bake the cake. Oh, secretive, gotta go.
Yeah.
And my question is, why was she so weird? Like, why was she rushing off and being so weird about making the cake? Because originally I thought, oh, it's a secret that she's trying to be the apprentice. But after all that goes south, like, she's sitting at the table with her family and they know, and they're like, it's okay, you didn't become the apprentice. Like, it was just one of many examples of they didn't like they made a decision that didn't pay off.
Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot
It's
of
just
that.
weird.
Yeah.
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 But for it to happen right at the beginning of like, oh, she's being so weird, and then she's going to be a tour guide of the city, which apparently we start every Disney movie with a song about the city and about, about the town
Yeah.
so that we can do a little level setting and tell everybody what's going on.
Yeah. But and you can do that. That's fine. In fact,
Every movie.
not every movie. Not every movie. And they don't do it every movie. There are a handful of movies where they do that. Beauty and the Beast is one of them. They do that.
I don't think they did it in Strange World.
I didn't watch that one.
I know you didn't.
So
I'm going to make you watch it at some point.
I don't want to.
We'll do a few positive episodes.
Yes,
and then
please.
once we
Yes,
need some
please.
negativity for our channel,
Yeah.
we'll throw in that one.
Beauty and the Beast did it well. Encanto did it
It's a great song.
well. It is a great song. Now, actually, I do. Here's another positive thing. I have one. I thought about this earlier.
Oh, yes.
I like that she is telling the story or whatever of the kingdom as like a tourist thing. She's welcoming new people into the city, and she's like, this is the city of roses. Here's all these things, and here's the stuff. Exposition. I'm not saying I love the song. I don't really love the visuals. It's not very visually stimulating to me. I'm a very bright color person. I love bright colors. I don't necessarily enjoy the whole song in the woods, but I like the colors that happen during that scene.
Yeah.
They make me happy. They make my brain happy. But the fact that it's like, we are new people coming into this city and you're telling us about it, I actually like that. Whereas in Encanto, which I like, I love that movie, but she is talking to people who have lived there for forever. Why don't they already know all these people? Why did they not know about Mirabelle not having a gift? Why don't the kids know? If they're in the city all the time helping, they should know already. That's something I could say in Encanto, but that's one of the things. Like, I love that song.
No, that's fair.
But if they had tourists coming in who didn't know anybody, it would make a lot more sense to me. So that's one thing that I am okay with in this movie, is that tourist scene. But back to what you were saying, I think they're trying to establish really early on this quirky, I hate this word, adorkable character. I think that's
because that's what women and the female characters have to be, since they can't just be pretty.
Yeah, or serious. I don't know. I mean, I like Pocahontas. She's probably one of the most serious female characters, and she's still like fun. In her own way. You can have that kind of character. It's okay. They don't all have to be adorkable. And if they are, give them a good, solid story. Like, Tangled, Rapunzel is adorkable because she has been sheltered her whole life. Yeah. Mirabelle is dorky because she's kind of the black sheep of the family. I can relate to that. That's how I have felt my entire life. But there's a story there. We have nothing to go with for Asha except that she's just dorky, and that adorkable. Yeah. And that is, she's adorkable and she cares. This is what I've heard over and over in all the reviews that I've listened to. She's adorkable and she cares too much. That's
a really good point, because I think comparing her to Mirabelle is a really, really good way of looking at why Asha doesn't land and why I don't care about her that much. Because Mirabelle, we get all this depth of why she is the way she is, why she cares so much about everybody, and she's a hard worker and is
she's spending doing her whole all these things, trying to prove herself because she doesn't have a gift.
Yeah. Whereas Asha, we don't know anything about, and then she goes into this. Oh my gosh, this was one of my like one of the first, like, what is going on here? Where Asha goes, she's walking with the queen. The queen says, don't even ask to see the wishes. Don't even ask. Don't go there. She meets the king, talks to the king for 2 minutes. He says, oh, here are the wishes. Okay, we just get to see them.
Yeah.
They have their nice song, and then asks for something, and no, now you can't have them. Like, just the
sequence.
The quick sequence of, like, Asha has suddenly discovered this thing that nobody in the kingdom has ever thought about before. Like, her revelation was not revolutionary.
It wasn't anything. She even talks about it at the beginning. She sings. Yeah. She says, you forget what your wish is with no regrets. Like, everybody in the kingdom knows about this.
Well, and you see Simon, who is notably sad and sleepy since he lost his wish. And they're like, it's okay, you'll get your wish back. But they see the change in his character. And you're telling me they've never noticed that about anybody else in the town? You see it in the 2 random people that give up their wish to Magnifico. Immediately you see kind of the downturn of their emotions and kind of them looking around and, I guess we're happy now because the crowd is. I don't even know where we came from in this point, but it just understanding deeper. Asha's character. There's no true development.
No, she has no story arc. She doesn't learn anything. She doesn't change as a person.
Yeah.
She stays the same the entire time. And she also kind of goes from being goofy and adorable to, like, competent very quickly. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you competent?
Yeah.
You just set, like, 2 minutes ago, you set a whole office on fire with a star. Like, where did this competence come from?
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, so
no, and I mean, like, we could talk all night about King Magnifico and his villainous turn.
Oh, I know. We haven't even really gone into that, but I don't think, I mean, it just would repeat what we've already said, which is the through line is not there. The whole idea of this book of forbidden spells that, like, you just have displayed in your office even though you never will use it.
Why is it just sitting
and then
there? Like anybody can get to it.
My favorite is that, like, the first time he's like, oh, maybe I'll use it, and the queen comes in and is like, no, babe, you said you wouldn't use it. He's like, okay, you're right, I won't use it.
Yeah.
And then, like, the next second he's like, ah.
I have so many thoughts. This is the thing that's been, like, in my brain the most, is that whole sequence of this is the thanks I get.
And also, he has an evil lair just in case.
Under the castle for no reason. Why do you have an evil lair?
He's never been evil before, but now I'm evil, and I just built this just in case I decided to be evil.
I don't get why the book is. We need more context for the book.
Like, what is the book? Why does he even have the book?
So I thought of this the other day. The book could have belonged to the person that destroyed his family, and he just kept it.
Yeah.
That would have given
as a relic
any sort of, like, connection there. Like, otherwise, he's like, where did this book come from? Why do you have it? Why is it in a display case in your library? Put it in the dungeon that you happen to have. Like, keep it down there.
Right? It should be in the evil lair.
Like, if you have an evil lair, you should just keep your evil book in the dungeon.
Keep the evil stuff there, yes.
So I was telling Kyle, I don't know if I can't remember if I told you or not, but I told Kyle, which I don't know if I've mentioned. Kyle's my husband for future listeners. Anyways.
We're both married.
Yeah. I was telling Kyle that the This Is the Thanks I Get needed a reprise. That song should have stopped. Like, okay, here's kind of where I've put it in the remade version of the movie in my head.
Yeah.
After the conflict with Asha, they could have done, this is the thanks I get, with more of a, like, him being upset that she was complaining, asking him for not talking about his looks, because I get they're trying to do this whole mirror thing. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, that was forced.
It was very forced. We had nothing to go off of before that, other than I'm a handsome king. Like, okay, cool. That was a throwaway line.
And then suddenly he was super vain.
It's all about, So, like, make it more about Asha and, like, I've been doing all these things, and then I have these people just coming. All they care about is having their wishes granted. I just want to have someone to connect with, like, work well with. I'm lonely, and all these people care about.
I just need a good admin.
Yeah, I just want a really good admin assistant. Like, this is all I really care about. Could have stopped it with the queen coming in and her just, like, kind of comforting him and whatever. And then after the whole conflict later with the whole kingdom jumping down his throat about and asking for another wish ceremony, you could have had a reprise there of him going, or and then
spiraling,
and then actually seeing what the star could do. He didn't see what the star, he saw a light,
a flash of light.
He saw a flash of light.
How dare it?
What the wishes kind of jumped. You know what could have been really cool is if the wishes, like, flew around in a crazy circle, or, like, started granting themselves, or literally anything to make him feel
felt
threatened.
Mildly happy. Yeah, everyone felt, like, mildly hopeful. His wishes bounced, and he's like, what has happened?
I
must be evil now.
Threatened. Like, what?
So...
Yeah.
Who was in these meetings? Who was watching these?
I don't know.
I mean, I get that making a movie is hard. I've never made one, but I'm sure it's really hard. But, like... So
yeah.
I thought a lot of these reviews that were on Wikipedia were really good. Rotten Tomato, it says, consensus reads, Wish earned some tugs at the heartstrings, with the way it warmly references many of the studio's classics, but nostalgia's no substitute for genuine storytelling magic.
Get 'em right.
No matter how beautifully animated it might be.
Yeah.
Okay, another sad, just based on, like, the ratings. This is the first Walt Disney Animation Studios film to be classified as rotten on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Since Chicken Little.
I was gonna say
in 2005.
I was gonna say that. So I was thinking about this one earlier.
Chicken Little.
I'm like, Wish is not the worst movie that Disney's ever made. There's at least two other ones, probably Chicken Little and Dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Hate that.
So, like,
Chicken Little has at least a few laughs.
I loved Chicken Little when it came out.
I'm pretty sure we saw Chicken Little together. Like, maybe on, like, Dollar Movie.
Yeah.
Like, when it came around to the Dollar
Theater. I loved Chicken Little when it came out.
Me too.
It's so cringy. But, like, I enjoyed that. It was fresh.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird.
To me.
It was not, like,
it was a
you wouldn't even
movie.
think it was Disney.
It was strange. But...
rough.
Yeah, that makes me sad. That does make me sad. I think maybe if it had just been a movie that Disney made.
I think they put too much pressure on it with the Disney 100.
And with that turnaround. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the turnaround, which doesn't even make sense. Did they not realize that the 100th anniversary was coming out and they should put out a really good movie? I don't know.
I wish I could tell you.
Funny. We've talked a lot about what they could do better.
Yeah.
But I just want to say what my comment was in response to that question. What could they do better? A lot. So that's all that needs to be said for that.
I would say, and I'm gonna say this.
Yep.
said a lot of things. We've been recording for over an hour. But if your movie makes me want to go watch a DreamWorks film, you're doing something wrong, Disney. I'm just going to say that.
That's awkward.
It is so awkward. Especially...
What, you wanted to watch El Dorado?
Yeah.
That's what you wanted? Yeah.
The whole book thing, the evil book thing, made me think of El Dorado and how much better that was executed. I did have one moment that kind of... I didn't laugh. I went... like... I don't know what that's called. It was when they were in the crowd, and I don't even remember what the setup was, but they're like, we gotta find somebody or whatever, and the goat Valentino, he goes, all I see are feet. For some reason that made me laugh. That was the only thing I think that made me laugh in that movie, from him especially. So
my moment was it was right before that I'm a Star song, which was cheesy but like also beautiful. Like something compelling about like being connected to the stars and like our eyes looking like galaxies and looking up to the sky for answers. I thought that was beautiful. But before that, one of the woodland creatures is she's like, we are all, and she's trying to get Asha to say stars, and Asha says overwhelmed.
Yeah. That was funny.
That was like, if we had a favorite line, that was my we are all overwhelmed.
Oh.
Did you watch the credits and see all the characters they had?
I didn't, but I know.
No.
I knew about it though.
So I did, and I am like we said kind of at the beginning, I like all Disney. So like the animated canon, like that is very important to me. So I went through and I marked which movies they excluded. I'm offended.
Who'd they exclude?
Not surprisingly, this one's fine. They excluded all the war movies. That makes sense. Like from World War II. So that's like from Saludos Amigos to, all those ones.
Yeah. The
Rescuers were not included. It's a great movie. Not surprisingly, the Black Cauldron. They probably thought no one would notice. I noticed.
But we did.
I don't like the movie, but I noticed. And then The Rescuers Down Under, which, you leave out the first one. Second one, I guess, makes sense.
I guess.
Meet the Robinsons. They also left out.
I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen that one?
It's on my list.
Really?
I don't know. I just never saw it. I don't know why.
That's interesting because I feel like that's like from a year that you that's right after Chicken. Yeah, that's right after Chicken Little.
I think I was just disappointed
Have you seen
life at that point.
Have you seen Bolt?
That's probably why I didn't watch Meet the Robinsons. I saw Bolt.
No, Bolt was after.
I saw Bolt, and I just didn't go back to watch it.
Bolt was after Meet the Robinsons. Yeah. That was a dark age.
I've always been so
Brother Bear through Bolt is like meh.
I'm so drawn to certain styles. 2D. Yeah. That when they started just pumping out CG, I think I just lost interest.
It was really after Treasure Planet that you lost interest. I mean, we liked Home on the Range.
Oh, yeah.
I remember watching it, and I still enjoy watching that. But anyways, we'll go on to all of this later. The other ones, just to go back to the credits that they left out, were like the sequels or like repeats. So the 2014 Winnie the Pooh, they didn't acknowledge Ralph Breaks the Internet and Frozen 2, which is, I understand. But I don't know, the Rescuers and Meet the Robinsons, Black Cauldron. Like, you can't just erase your past. You have to acknowledge it.
They include Pocahontas?
So, yeah, they did.
That's interesting that they left those ones out. I mean...
Yeah, it wouldn't have been hard to include a little mouse. I'm curious as to why they might have been purposely left out, and especially because like ones like Home on the Range and Chicken Little were included. I don't know.
I'm just trying to think what. Well, they had a mouse. There was a mouse on screen for 2 seconds. They could have given her a little hat.
Like, I don't know.
That could have been it. That would have been fine.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Mm-hmm. Also, a note for the credits. I actually know at least 4 people who are in the credits.
Oh, you should talk to them.
All singers.
Oh, okay.
They're all singers.
Never mind.
So they don't have, I don't know that they have a whole lot to add to our conversation, but I sang with one of them in school, so it's always fun to see people that you know in movie credits.
How cool. I don't know anybody.
Really fun.
Unless
it's okay.
Rob was on that film. I don't think he was.
I don't think he was. No. We'll have to review a Star Wars movie so that we can say we...
There we go.
We knew. I think the last thing we have is our rating, and then we should wrap this up.
Yep.
So here's the rating that we have instilled for the Mouse and the Goof channel. So here are the levels. The bottom level is it's a one-time watch. We're not watching it again. We're not recommending anyone else watch it again. One-time watch. Next level up is, I won't turn the TV off if it's on. Like, it's not... I'll just leave it at that. That means whatever it means to you. Next level up, if we're doing grades, C, average, is it's a lovely background movie. Turn it on while you're cleaning the house, while you're chasing your kid around. Next level up is... I like this one. Watching once a year is not enough. In parentheses, but that's all the time I have because I'm an adult with a job.
That's no excuse.
Yeah. So this, you really like the movie.
Yeah.
And then the top tier is, my kids will love this movie whether they like it or not.
So what's your rating?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, why not?
I said, I won't turn the TV off if it's on.
I will probably not watch it again anytime
One time watch.
Probably one time. Wow, I've had to watch it twice now. Thanks a lot.
That will be true of any of them.
Now,
it's our job. We have to watch it.
I will listen to the music, some of the music.
Absolutely.
Okay, maybe, all right, so maybe let's say it's in between. I won't turn it off, or one-time watch. Now, that's if somebody else has decided to watch the movie. I, myself, will not turn it on.
No, this is not, we're turning it on.
Yeah.
It's like, if someone else has turned it on, we're not going to come in here and be like, turn that crap off.
It depends on who it is who has it on, because... There's some people that don't want to hear my critiques. And if it's on, I'm going to critique it. That's the problem. So it's a one-time watch for me at this point. If I'm upset, it's not a good time. I don't want to be upset when I'm watching a Disney movie.
Yeah, instills too much anger.
Too much anger. That's right. I'm just so worried about this being our first episode. I don't want people to think I'm a grumpy person.
No. I think this movie pulls it out. I think we will do. We have a couple movies that we're going between for what we'll do next. So I think it'll be something that I know it'll be something that you like more.
Yeah. And
that you can, sing the praises of. So I think this was a good first episode. Yeah. Should we call it it a day?
Yeah.
The Mouse and the Goof.
Mouse and the Goof.
And we'll see what all becomes of it.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is fun. It's a fun way for us to hang out and talk about things that we love or don't love.
Or don't love. All right. Well, until next episode.
All right. See you then.